Yo, Preston, we should go do karaoke when I'm down in Georgia.
We should do a karaoke and do the set list that we drafted on the show. Not you and I, but
Yes.
like the set list that were drafted on the show,
Right,
and
right,
and
right,
gauge the objective crowd reaction.
right. And when
Because
I
I'm
get
sure any good karaoke bar would let us do 6 songs in a row.
and when I get thrown out of town for doing Wonderwall, where they're like, "Don't come back to Atlanta," this will be good data for
We
us.
don't want you.
Ooh, welcome to Drafted. I am your host, Daniel Prentice, and as always, I am joined by my dear friend and co-host, Preston Thompson. Preston, are you all right over there, bud?
Uh-huh. Okay.
I don't think he's okay. Are we going to be able to record this episode tonight, Presto? Okay. All right, you get it together. I will say that we have been doing a fair amount of drinking before this episode because we just created from the cocktail draft with Patrick Stegemoeller. We just made all three of them and tried all three with Patrick, who is our guest tonight. Patrick, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm pretty good. It is late on Thanksgiving Eve right now,
Yeah, it is.
and I want to let all the listeners out there know that I'm prioritizing you over my family.
We appreciate that, Pat. Very much so. All right, I think Preston is ready. I'm going to go back to him.
Mhm.
Preston, how are you tonight?
I'm okay. So I think my new strategy for the show, since I edit it, is everything I think you say that's funny, I'm going to say it, and then I'll edit me in as if I'm the one who has said it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the listeners would notice?
No, especially now that you've said it. There's no way they'll think
Well,
it's
again,
actually true. Are
they actually listening to this? Who knows?
It's a nice double bluff by you.
Can you guys feel when you're in the edit trash can? Can you feel the air change around you and you're like, oh, this is not going to make it to the final show?
It never happens to me, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. I've got some notes, but we won't go there. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Should I co-host this one?
No.
Should Preston be the guest? Preston be the guest this time?
I don't know that he's in a good condition to be guest.
I'm not in good condition to be being recorded.
He needs to.
Anything I say can be used against me in a court of law.
He needs to dig deep right now, and he'll do it. I know he'll come through.
This is a hell of an advertisement for the Patreon segment.
It really is. Yeah, it's so. Like I said, Preston and I, Pat wasn't able to join us. He didn't have enough ingredients in his home where he has for Thanksgiving. But Preston and I made ingredient for ingredient every single drink that we drafted that night. It was a hell of a time. We decided which drink is best, which I think we will not reveal to you. We are drinking those beverages now as our draft drink. So you know what Preston and I are drinking. Pat, what are you drinking tonight, friend?
It's a unmeasured pour of vodka into ice with the mixture that I could find, which was concentrated just palm. So it's like concentrated pomegranate juice.
And how is that treating you?
It's not like what you would traditionally call good.
Yeah.
Really like that.
I thought there was a butt coming in there in some way.
You came on to us for the Patreon portion of the program.
Came on to us.
Yeah, I don't know why I phrased it that way. Drinking, I believe, tequila and Coke Zero. Is that what you were drinking before?
Cherry Coke Zero.
Cherry Coke Zero, but with tequila.
Correct.
So which is better, would you say?
Easily the tequila and the Cherry Coke Zero.
Really?
No question about it. Yeah.
That surprises me.
But isn't palm juice better for your heart?
I think almost.
It helps with heart disease, though.
I think it's almost definitely better than Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so do you just not like pomegranate juice? Because the palm with you said with vodka, that seems like a much more natural combination to me than the Cherry Coke Zero.
You need something to cut it, you know? Like if I had like some, I don't know, something other than vodka and concentrated pomegranate
Sure.
probably be better.
Sure. Maybe a little black cherry Mio perhaps
Oh, no.
would help get in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, please check that out. It's for Patreon members only. We thank so much of you who are already. I paused collecting payments for November, so I'm pretty sure you can just join for free. Watch the video of us. It's video, not just audio. You see us making the drinks. You see us drinking the drinks. You see it all.
You see it all.
You
You see it all. We're all naked
baby.
during the recording of it. So if you want to see the three of us naked,
Also, yeah, subscribe to our OnlyFans while we're at it.
yeah, sign up
Right.
for Patreon. I'm pretty sure it's literally free, and you'd be able to watch it. And if you wanted, you could also cancel your subscription for December and not pay us 1 cent. So just go watch, because we made it for y'all. It took like an hour plus out of our lives and time we could have spent with our family for the holidays. So that would mean a lot to us. And again, thank you to all of our Patreon supporters already. You guys are the best. But Preston, are you sober enough to tell us what we're drafting tonight?
Yes. I lost my mouse. Tonight we are it's under the desk. Tonight we are drafting the perfect fall. Now, this I think is a new frontier for us, in that there are literally no parameters here.
Yeah.
That sentence I just said is all we have to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is the kind of show where Pat Stegemoeller really shines, because he comes in and says that, you know, my perfect fall includes Michael Jordan. And we're like, why is that fall? And he's like, well, go watch Space Jam. Tell me it's not fall.
Yeah.
It does happen during the fall season, as everyone knows.
I will say, as
that's
another teaser for the Patreon member, and I think this is maybe why Preston went this for this bit, is there's a pretty heated debate and final ruling on the Michael Jordan conundrum. The
final ruling, if you think Daniel is good, then yes, final ruling, sure.
I don't think it has anything to do with me being good. It's my jurisdiction as the host of the show. I think it's only fair. But yeah, we are drafting best fall. We have no list to work from. I think there might be some arguments about what, you know, is allowed here potentially. I think it definitely is right for that when we're not operating from an agreed upon list.
We'll spend a good 4 to 6 hours hashing that out.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you'll all soon listen to.
Yes. We do have our draft order as determined by random.org. And apparently this happens every time he's on. But Pat gets the first pick. I have the second pick, and then Preston has the third pick. And of course, as always, snake style drafts. So it'll be reverse order on even rounds. Since there's not really anything to hash out until we get to the nitty gritty as far as rules go, Pat, why don't you just lead us off here with the first pick?
You know, the burden of the first pick is knowing that if you don't want to fuck up your draft, you kind of have to take the normie option.
You don't have to do anything, Pat.
Yeah.
Well,
go left field. Go left field.
No, I'm gonna play it straight. But you start straight, you know, you build up kind of a good base, and then you can start branching out a little bit. And I use that term intentionally because I'm taking foliage with the first pick.
Fall foliage.
Mm-hmm.
Leaf peeping.
Exactly.
I think this is the correct first pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic New Englander, you are.
Almost.
Would you call yourself a New Englander? Yes, right? I mean,
No.
Categorically, no.
He's from New York.
I suppose those two aren't the same, but
No.
Lord knows why. Listen, everything north of Tennessee to me is essentially Canada. It's like the big ice wall from Game of Thrones. You guys are different up there. I don't get it.
And aren't you from Western New York as well?
I've spent some time in Western New York, but
you're not from there?
Not from there originally. But no, okay. I went to school out there and then lived in Rochester for a bit before I moved to DC.
Got you. Okay. This is a tremendous pick. It is, I think, the best thing about fall. It's one of the things I've enjoyed the most about moving from Florida, where there is no fall, to North Carolina, where there very much is. It really is it's just delightful. And I think, Pat, you nailed the first pick here.
Is there really no fall in Florida, like at all? It's just indiscernible.
I mean, you'll have you do get a temperature drop. It's not 100 degrees anymore. And where I am in Florida, there are some trees that change color, but it's a lot of fucking pine trees here, man, and a lot of live oaks that just
Evergreens.
just go from being green to just dropping their trees. There's not a whole lot of like reds and yellows and pretty colors like that. Yeah. I mean, you I don't think would get them if Atlanta weren't kind of close to the mountains.
Well, I'm next to Red Top Mountain north of Atlanta. So like I'm in one of the more beautiful fall areas of the state. It's like the southern end of the Appalachian Mountains. So
yeah, Atlanta does get very pretty.
It's very pretty around here this time of year. It's pretty beautiful. So good choice, Patrick.
Yeah, well done. Well done. Okay. I am up next. And I think I am going to pick what I think is the second best part of fall after the fall foliage, and they kind of go hand in hand. I'm going to take crisp autumn air.
Interesting. Does that mean when we're building our perfect fall, people can't breathe?
Yeah, it's going to be humid as fuck for both of your falls.
No, I mean like you're taking the very concept of breathable air.
No, I'm not. I'm taking, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like when the air changes and the heaviness of the air leaves because it's no longer summer and it's no longer humid and the air is cool and crisp and refreshing and brisk and just makes you feel alive, and you get to put on a hoodie. I can't take hoodies. I'm not drafting hoodies. I mean, I could take them later, I suppose, but just the crisp autumn air. It's the best time of year to be outside because the air just feels the best it's going to feel all year long.
I mean, I think you're right.
Yeah, and
this is a definite thing, right? We all agree that
do you want to pick a geographic part of the country that you're kind of referring to with that? Because I feel like it's different around the country, like what your autumn air, like just from my personal experience. I live in New York City right now, and the crisp autumn air, it feels different here than it did in DC, than it did when I've been, in October down in the South, out on the West Coast. I don't know. Is there one you're envisioning here, or is it just sort of generally
just,
like,
those first few weeks where it's like, the nights get down in the 40s and the days don't get out of like, the low to mid 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the feeling of the air you're taking, not just the temperature itself.
Yeah. The crisp autumn air. Yeah.
Got it. All right. I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. I thought this would be a more easily identifiable thing than you guys are making it out to be.
I'm with you. I understand.
I think we need to start putting some parameters on stuff at least to try to
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried that
this is the process.
I think the pick is fine. I think, like Patrick, I'm a little worried it takes too many things off of the board.
No, I know.
Like we'll get there when we get there.
Listen, if you guys take like specific temperatures, then I'm going to push back on that.
57 degrees.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think most people are going to know what the hell I'm talking about. It's one of the things that makes fall, other than the days in the calendar. All right, Preston, you are up with back-to-back picks.
Now I'm thinking I should check the days on the calendar, seeing as you just said it's pretty integral to fall. No, I don't understand if it's the alcohol talking, but I'm going to draft. I want the Monopoly. You two are avoiding it, and I understand why, because I think like it doesn't appeal to everybody. But
I know what you're going with, and I debated taking it over what I took.
I want the big shows. We're going to start with football.
Oh, hang on.
And then
hang on. I don't think you should be able to get all of football.
Really?
Yeah.
I think high school, pro, college are three different things.
I agree.
Wow. All right. If one of you wants to take the very problematic NFL, by all means, I will take college football, which is no problems. Everybody loves it. Historically, it's been very good and has never been bad.
It's no moral questions whatsoever about college.
It's the most fall of the three options available to you. Like Agreed. Pro football is best in like January playoffs, that kind of thing. I think when you think of fall, I think college football is a little bit more. It's
Saturday weekend.
Yeah. And Saturday is a better day than a Sunday.
Agreed. And I don't think enough of our listeners are from small town America to really appreciate high school football. But maybe somebody else will take that bet later.
If anyone takes high school football, you're no longer welcome on this show.
Care to elaborate?
Well, we'll get into this later.
It'll just be
let me etch this off my board.
No,
Jeez.
it'll be just such a bad pick that I think you will have ruled yourself to be such a poor drafter that
okay.
Daniel, I don't know where I don't know where you didn't get hand jobs in high school, but for me personally,
boy, Pat, that list is never ending there, partner. Yeah, college football, very solid pick, Preston. What's your second?
This little thing that happens over the course of maybe 10 days or so in the fall. You may have heard of it, called the World Series.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Joe Buck coming in on the call, baby, with Chaboy John Smoltz from the ATL. Nobody calls it Hotlanta. Get out of here. But I have the monopoly on fun sports now. If you want to watch the Jacksonville Jags in November, please, somebody take the NFL.
Come on.
The fun sports, I've got them.
You're getting carried away. I think college football and the World Series are the top two sports, but like the NFL, and I agree with Pat, like playoff football is in the winter and that is peak NFL, but fall NFL is still good. Like you get the hunt for the playoff, you often get fantasy football playoffs, and you get something that is integral to my Thanksgiving experience, which is Thanksgiving football.
Yeah.
So NFL it will be chosen, and it's going to be a good pick.
And just to do some very brief narrowcasting here against my own pick, how good can college football be if Jeff Saturday is willing to go from high school football directly to the NFL? Clearly, college football is massively overrated.
Wait, was he? He wasn't coaching high. I thought he was working for ESPN.
He was coaching a high school football team in Tequila, Georgia, about an hour from here.
Tequila, Georgia.
He had a losing record for what it's worth.
Hey, he's 1-1 in the NFL.
Go Colts!
1-1 so far.
We're on the up and up.
All right. Let's not get too zeroed in on NFL details, shall we? Not yet, anyway. Okay, that brings me up here, and man, there's so many good things about fall. We'll address it now. We should have talked about this before the draft started. But where does the fall rank for you guys in like the season power rankings? For me, it's an easy and distant number one.
This sounds like a end of draft question because I think we might reveal a little bit too much about our strategy.
Okay, fair enough. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it afterwards.
Pat should be a co-host. I never would have thought of that.
You just sort of started rambling on. Yeah, this is why we both work and don't work together, Preston. But mostly work, I think. Okay, I am going to take this is not in my personal ranking here, but I think a lot of people have this very high on their board, so I'm going for the people pleaser pick. I'm taking Halloween.
Yeah,
good pick.
I think so too. I would have said almost the exact same sentence too. It's not something I hold in very high regard, but like I feel like a lot of other people do.
If nothing else, I just won Preston's wife's vote.
That's certainly true. She's not going with a single team that doesn't have Halloween on it.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Her favorite holiday, and that's good insider info you were using there, Dan, because she is one of the only 6 votes we get on the show. You're playing the electoral college game, and I like it.
Halloween's a good pick because it can be so many things to so many different people.
Exactly.
It can be like, oh, you've got kids and you get to, your kids dress up in adorable little costumes and that's great. It can be you get to give out candy, hang out with your neighbors. It can be you put on some like completely insane costume and drink 7 Monterey Mules and end up, fighting a police horse outside of a closed deli at 3 a.m. Like there's a gambit of experiences that I think this will speak to. And I think that makes it a good pick.
Thank you, Pat.
It's very, very inclusive. Good job.
Very eloquently put as well, Pat. I really appreciate that. That's why we bring you on. Yeah, so I feel good about that. I feel like Halloween could have maybe gone first round, if I'm being quite honest. I think getting it with my second pick feels like a pretty big steal.
Yeah, I was going to take Halloween, if not having thought of the potentially poorly planned strategy of trying to take all the
monopolizing sports.
Time. Yeah.
Well, here's my thing though on this, and I think this will this will be up to the voters, I guess, to decide. I think it's the second best holiday.
I actually agree.
Right.
I actually agree personally,
We,
but
we all agree that Veterans Day is the number one because
Amen, brother.
we care about the troops.
I would actually say Georgia State holiday, Robert E. Lee's birthday is definitely up there for me. So.
Which we can get into this off mic because it's actually like fucking
Hang
up
on.
the runoff because of the Saturday can't vote on a Saturday after holiday. Anyways, all right.
Wait, is Robert E. Lee even from Georgia? He's not, right? Isn't he from Virginia?
No, yeah, I think so.
Jesus
but
Christ,
Georgia. We have a statue of him like 45 minutes from here. So like
Jesus Christ, Georgia.
He comes to see it every year in his weird spectral abomination form.
Doesn't a weird time we live? Some things feel so advanced and modern and progressive, and yet the entire state of Georgia celebrates Robert E. Lee's birthday.
I think you should have some more Grandpa's Lemonades, Dan, and try and forget about this.
You're exactly right. Pat, help me not think about that with your next two picks, please.
Well, another thing that people drink alcohol to occasionally avoid, I'm going to take Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next. It's my favorite holiday. Now, I understand this is maybe not going to hit for everybody. Some people maybe dislike Thanksgiving because they don't like spending time with their family.
It's very family dependent. Yeah,
it's very family dependent. For me, it's the best holiday of the year. I love eating copious amounts of food. Also, I think particularly where I spent most of my life in the Northeast, it's like some of like the most beautiful weather is like early fall, mid fall to late.
Oh, you're talking about that crisp bottom air.
Well, I'm talking about just the anticipation you get for Thanksgiving all year. All of the atmosphere.
Sure.
That it involves. But it's a day to just eat. We got into
eat and be merry.
Got into this in the Patreon, but you can just eat the equivalent of honeymoon hotel room nachos all day. Which if that's not going to sell you on checking out that Patreon,
it's a lifestyle.
Wait, so Pat, that you like Thanksgiving more than Christmas even?
For sure, no question about it. Christmas is like a whole month, which it's just a little bit too much. There's also more pressure with Christmas. There's presents and there's like flying around. Thanksgiving is it's one location generally. It's people come together. You're eating a huge meal. There's football on if you're into that. There's the dog show on if you're into that. There's the
parade.
The parade if that's
the Thanksgiving Day parade is a big one.
Yeah, and it also for me personally, and I try to draft more from my heart than necessarily what I think the people are going to like, and I hope that the people respect my enthusiasm. For me, Thanksgiving is like the one that always stands out because it's where I learned to cook with my grandparents, and like my grandma taught me how to make her mashed potatoes, and now that she's passed, like that's my role. So I always Thanksgiving's got a real soft spot in my heart.
That's very nice.
That is nice.
So next up for me, I'm going to take, in a way, a holiday. Should be a holiday. I'm going to take sweeping political victories on Election Day.
I had this. Damn it. If it was any other guest, I could have gotten this last pick of the 6th round. And I was going to say, this is why I think you and I like Thanksgiving more than some other people, is that it is a structural placeholder for us having less work to do. Right. Like as soon as Thanksgiving gets here, people pretty much take Thanksgiving to like January 6th off. And they don't do any work at least in my field, probably at least a little bit in yours too. So like it's like a structural pinpoint of like, okay, you're done. Good job.
Name me a better fall day than any of you have had than November, what was it, 8th, 2020? November 7th, whatever that Saturday was when the election got called for Biden.
I was 3 for 8 on races I was working on, so that's actually not a bad day for me. But yeah, no, that was a good day. I was heavily intoxicated as I am now.
And it combos with Thanksgiving well because it means you go into Thanksgiving not being like, oh fuck. You go into Thanksgiving being like,
how about that, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you, hey, Uncle Jim, did you maybe turn on a TV in the last month? Maybe
exactly.
see the complete rejection of your total life outlook. Interesting. Interesting how that works. I'm with you, Pat. I don't know if the listeners are going to be fair, because elections suck, but I'm with you at least.
But they suck a lot less when you win big.
Yeah, he did.
But,
he did specifically say sweeping political victories on election day,
which, can we be clear, don't happen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever experienced a sweeping victory. Yeah, I don't think those happen, but the idea of it is nice.
I think that's why this is not the best pick, because it's kind of a fantasy, right?
Yeah, because even when you win,
and
60 million people still voted for the other guy.
Right. Well, and here's the thing: it's like even like the only people in my when I do have Thanksgiving with my like conservative extended family, the only people who bring up the political conversations are them. Like, it's never the liberal people. Like even if you've won, like gloating to them doesn't feel good, because then they say some like fucked up shit that reminds you. It's like, oh yeah,
you don't have to gloat. That was A, Preston brought that to the table. B, like, you can comport yourself if you want. I'm just like, the whole fall feels way better when, for example, Donald Trump loses an election, right?
We try not name names on this show.
Isn't
Patrick.
we
don't know what political affiliation our listeners are with, really.
No, that's not. If you support Donald Trump, stop listening to our show. Straight up, we don't want you. You're not part of the drafted family. Okay, I think that's a weird one.
If you don't vote for me, it means you're essentially voting for Trump here.
That's not true. You can't
listen to the show anymore.
That's not true. Do not listen to Pat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do not listen to Pat.
Interesting.
You'll be self-canceling yourself if you vote for anyone else.
That is ridiculous. Okay, it's my pick now. What do I take here? I'm going to take I'm gonna take like outdoor fires, bonfires, fire pits, etc.
I was gonna take that next round. Yep. Dang it. I have written here on my list fires and fire smells, parentheses, and how it opens the people that are closest to you up to new vulnerability. That's literally what I have written on my tier list here.
That's deep.
Never have I had deeper conversations than around a fall bonfire or fire. People finally tell you about that big regret they have that's really been holding them back. And by people, I mean me.
Yeah, that sounds like more of a you thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, good job, Dan.
Draft therapy, Preston.
That's not fall specific, my friend. This is a year-round activity in this household.
That's good.
Good choice, Dan. I was so excited to take that next round.
Thank you. I feel good about it. I really like my first three picks. I really do.
Can you tell me what the right fire setup looks like for you?
Like ideal?
Yeah.
I think like you're in a backyard, like kind of like a big backyard, so there aren't like houses on top of you. You know, you feel kind of like you're out in nature, but you're not actually in nature. You don't have to worry about, like
you're still close
nature
to the
killing you or something. Yeah, exactly. And like, the alcohol inside. With but like it's actually cold, so you're like, you got to wear a sweater and jeans, and you're like huddled around the fire, and like just like kind of shooting the shit, maybe getting deeper emotionally than you've ever gotten in your life, according to if you're with Preston. Yeah. Preston, I think we need to get to halftime here, so make your final pick of the first half of the draft, the final pick of the third round.
All right. Well, you alluded to it earlier. One of my favorite things about the fall, for reasons we can discuss, hoodies.
Good luck enjoying your hoodies without some crisp autumn air.
Was it gonna be like 102 degrees during my fall?
It could also be like 40 degrees.
It's true.
No, it's true. Yeah, it could be frigid. If you don't get crisp autumn air, then I think the only really real option is you get an Arizona summer for your fall. Those are the only two things, really.
Makes total sense. No, I mean, fall opens you up to the part of your wardrobe that, if you're like me, you love, because it hides some of the parts of your body that you're not as proud of. So you throw on the hoodie, you feel better about yourself, look good, feel good. It's great.
I think it's a great pick. Hoodies are tremendous. They're one of the best articles of clothing. And that first week you get to wear them just feels nice. It just feels good, you know? It's a happy time.
Shout out to the drafted hoodie available in our merch store.
It's a sharp hoodie. It is a sharp hoodie. It is the only hoodie I brought down with me from North Carolina, because it's going to be like in the 70s most of the time I'm here, so I won't really need it. But man, is it a good hoodie. Check it out. In our link tree in the episode description, there was a link to our Teespring page where you can buy it yourself.
Go get drafted merch for your family for Christmas, because not only are you gifting them some cool, kind of minimally designed, some of them are a little busy for my taste, but most of
those are jokes with zero intention of them ever being purchased, I will say.
Mostly great designed article of clothing, and you're gifting them a podcast too. You're gifting them Daniel and Preston and all the goofy cast of characters here, because they'll be like, oh, what's this?
It's like giving them a goldfish. It's like, here you go. Now you have a responsibility to take care of this thing. Just like, to fully understand this gift I got you, you got to go listen to 60 hours of content.
You know, Pat really sold it as a nice thing, and then you came in right away and sold it as a negative.
I am coming for your hosting gig, Preston. We're like body switching right now.
The problem is, if you co-host, you also have to edit the show.
Okay,
wow, that was a quick sell.
He took that on really easily. All right.
Raw, unedited, unplugged, baby.
Okay, well, hold on.
All right, that's not quite the same. We'll have to hash this out in the intermission break here. A quick recap of the first half of the draft. So far, Pat has fall foliage, Thanksgiving, and sweeping political victories on Election Day. And that, I think, is the biggest mouthful of any pick in the history of the show. So congrats to you, Pat, for that. I have crisp autumn air, Halloween, and bonfires, and Preston has college football, the World Series, and hoodies. Of course, the entire second half of the draft coming up. But, I mean, listen, we have to recompose ourselves, okay? We have drunk a lot of alcohol at this point. We'll be back in just a minute. Preston, did you hear?
What?
The Drafted podcast. They have merch now.
Oh my God, I love those guys. They're great.
They're pretty great. Which one's your favorite, would you say?
Well, Daniel, because Daniel's never ruthlessly offended a group of people on accident. So definitely Daniel.
Oh, I kind of like Preston more myself. That Daniel guy, he seems like a little stuck up. But I think one thing we can all agree on is how great the Drafted merch is.
I'm wearing it right now. It's very comfy. I feel taller. I feel slimmer.
Yeah.
I feel like I could run a sub 4.840 now, which is like pretty good, I would say.
You look great. Better than usual even.
Oh, thank you.
You also, there's stuff you don't have to wear. There's stickers and stuff you put drinks in, which is great. I know you love what is it? What's that drink you like?
All of them?
No, you know the one.
A hot toddy.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, they got sweaters, hoodies, shirts. What more could you want from a merch store, you know? You can get all of it at draftedpodcast.creatorspring.com. Okay, we are back for the second half of the draft. Preston, you get us started here.
I'm really agonizing over this pick because I think it's going to lose me some people on principle.
Oh, boy.
But I think it's going to get me more people than I lose.
Okay. That's key.
It's key. The kickoff of Christmas music. Now, Christmas is not a fall holiday, but the kickoff of Christmas music, to me, happens usually
right after Thanksgiving for me.
Yeah. I was going to say Thanksgiving Day. When I show up at my family's house, it's usually playing on Thanksgiving Day. So it's like the transition period. As work has gotten harder, I've started listening to it sooner and sooner. This year, I was listening to it in October to try and calm me down. But usually, Thanksgiving Day is the kickoff of Christmas music. Patrick, question.
So I think that this has the potential to be a great pick, but I have a couple of clarifying questions.
Sure.
One, when does winter start?
Oh, like officially?
And does
Isn't there an actual answer to this?
Well, I mean, it's December 21st.
It is December 21st. Usually, sometimes it'll be the 22nd, right? Based on
I assume we're not going by
things.
the tight strictures.
Yeah, it's a vibes question.
Solar calendar. And does winter not start when Christmas music starts?
No.
Because I mean, here's the thing. This is actually my. This is where I'll push back on this as maybe not such a good pick, even though I do appreciate Christmas music a lot. Here, Preston is kind of substituting when he starts listening to Christmas music as his kickoff of Christmas music. But if you tune into the right radio station, there has been Christmas music on your radio since the day after Halloween.
That's a travesty.
And it is genuinely. And listen, I know a lot of people can't stand Christmas music, and I think those people are wrong. I fucking love Christmas music. As vehement an atheist as I am, I still absolutely love even like traditional classic Christmas music. But I do not listen to it a second before Thanksgiving is over. Like once Thanksgiving ends, that is the official start of Christmas season. But you can have too much Christmas music. There's no denying it. So like if you're giving me the official kickoff Christmas music, which probably happens November 1st, I think it's maybe more of a negative than a plus.
But so here's why it works though, because the first day that you emotionally accept and you make a deliberate choice, not by using the radio, corporate shill, but you deliberately choose to start listening to Christmas music.
Okay,
is the best day of Christmas music you have that year.
So your real pick here is the day each individual chooses to embrace the presence of Christmas music for the Christmas season.
Well, I said Christmas music kickoff time. So like choosing when and being like, it starts today, then like that's a good day.
But that's not the kickoff though. You can't jump into the halfway through the second quarter of a football game and be like, oh, I love the kickoff of this football game.
I don't subscribe to your weird radio. Listen, I don't know if you know this, Dan. Nobody listens to the radio anymore. It's not a thing.
I listen to the radio.
We have agency over our own musical tastes. And when you choose to kick off Christmas, when you scroll back in your Spotify playlist to a year ago and you find that the Christmas 2021 playlist, that's a good day.
Are you making a separate
every year?
This year?
No. I don't know why I said that. It's a good question. No. I have Thompson Family Christmas that has been running since like 2015.
I just don't associate Christmas music with fall.
I don't know
in any meaningful way.
I was thinking about this just a couple days ago, actually. Like, official starts of the season to be gone. Winter is December, January, February. Spring is March, April, May. Summer is June, July, August. Fall, September, October, November.
If you want to be blunt about it,
like
sure.
Spiritually.
But this is the pick for people who don't like fall.
Sorry, I have to pick the scraps of brain matter off my deck and the little skull casings. Wow, galaxy brain. That's where I was going, because when I think of Christmas music during fall, I think of annoyance. Yeah. I think of like, oh, I can't believe like Christmas has gotten so corporate
that it's in the fall.
Target is like on October 17th, like playing Christmas music in this commercial for some reason right now. Like Cecily Strong is like pushing some T-Mobile phone.
Okay, but fine. Question.
In the fall, fuck that.
Question, Karl Marx. When do you start listening to Christmas music?
The day after Thanksgiving.
Okay, you took Thanksgiving though. Are you claiming Thanksgiving is the last day of fall?
Kind of is.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I don't think that's true. So here's what I think. I think so much of this has to do with temperatures. Daniel, do you think Thanksgiving is the last day of fall?
No,
because to me, it's not cold enough to be winter yet. Because I grew up in Georgia.
We're in the South. Yeah. I will say, like, to me, like, the spiritual December or winter probably starts the first day of December. But there is like a weird. I mean, listen.
There's a grace period.
Thanksgiving does start the Christmas season, though. So I don't know. I do not associate Christmas music with the fall in any way, even though I definitely start listening to it, very much like the official fall.
Associate it with during the fall is annoyance and like grumbly Scroogeness, right?
It's too early.
Listen, there are so many people that consider Thanksgiving to be the preamble, the drum roll to Christmas.
It's the start of Christmas season, yeah.
And I think for those people, this pick works because that first song you hear, that's the first Christmas song of the year, you're like, oh, it's just relief.
I can agree that Thanksgiving is a liminal space in between fall and winter to an extent. But I think if I hear Christmas music before Thanksgiving, I just get annoyed.
So some people like it though. I mean, there's a reason to start playing it.
I'm sort of assuming people's own agency and when they want to start doing this, which is why I said Christmas music kickoff. I didn't say Christmas music kicks off November 17th.
No, I know, but
everybody chooses their own kickoff.
But I think the argument Pat is really making is not that, like, even that the annoyance is like, if you're choosing it at the right time, then kind of fall is over and you're no longer picking a thing for fall, you're picking a thing for winter at that point.
In a way, you are, when you choose to start listening to Christmas music, is when you're ending your own personal conception of fall.
Yeah. So
then fine. The concept of that choice is what I'm taking.
So here's I think a fair parallel, like putting up the Christmas lights. Like a lot of people have done that already, but I don't think anyone would associate it as being like a fall activity or like buying your Christmas tree. Those are things you do in the technical fall, and like for like us, we do it pretty much the weekend after Thanksgiving. But I don't think of it as like a fall thing. I think of it as, a start of Christmas thing.
I think it's a fine pick that it should stay. I'm not trying to like get the pick thrown out.
I appreciate that.
This is just why
it's a gray area.
Why it's a gray area. I've now talked. I heard it first and I was like, yeah. And now the more I've talked about it, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, nah. Okay. But I think it should stand. I think it's a
I think it's a gray area. I think it's something probably for the voters to decide.
And then we can rehash this whole thing and what's the worst pick. So we just do this exactly 40 minutes we just spent on this.
Perfect. There's no way it's the worst pick. Here's the thing. It's fourth round. I'm going after a very specific audience, which is an audience that honestly doesn't care about any of the other picks we've taken so far because they're winter people.
I feel sorry for those
and
people.
I still think it counts as a fall thing because the concept of choosing that for yourself when Christmas season is going to begin. Listen, and by the scientific calendar, December 21st. So all y'all can suck
it. That is inarguably correct. But I think we spent too much time on this, so we will move on. I am going to make it quick here. I am going to go with the admittedly lesser of the sports choices, but I think so many picks after Preston that I'm getting really good value here. I'm going for the NFL because, like I said, just for the Thanksgiving football games alone, I think it is huge.
Yeah, that's
fine.
Totally fair. You guys want to be cooped up inside all fall while I'm out enjoying my foliage. I get it. I understand.
Well, listen, we don't get the foliage, so we might as well, when I'm gonna have the door open so I get to enjoy that crisp autumn air, and watch football. I can put my TV outside.
So on board
you're leaving the door open. You leave the door open while you're watching just wild animals coming in.
That's
true.
True.
A barn.
I don't live in the woods, Patrick.
I grew up in the woods. Let me tell you. In the fall, you don't leave your door open. That's when bears are in like just godless killing. They're trying to bulk up.
Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that video, that Twitter video of the person opening their door and just an enormous ass black bear is right outside? It's like an apartment like an apartment door or some shit. Did you guys see this?
What did the bear want?
That was Patrick's video.
Yeah,
I've seen black bears, but this black bear was enormous.
Look, if you didn't cut the moose story from the animal fighting episode like 2 years ago, listeners would understand.
Oh
That
my
made it.
God.
I'm pretty sure that made it. Didn't that make it to Patreon? No.
It was Patreon at least, but yeah,
That might. That
I don't know.
actually might have
I
been.
don't know that there's an E tag that
That
exists.
predated
would've-
Patreon.
That might have been pre-Patreon. That might have just been burned to the. It was a lot, listeners.
It's
It was-
somewhere
that
on
story
one of
was
my
a lot.
external hard drives. It's somewhere.
That story was a little much.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. You
All right.
have back-to-back selections.
Okay, I'm gonna start broad, and you can let me know how narrow I get. I have to go here,
All
and
right.
and I'm not trying to game this. By
Sure.
You very much are, but it's
oh,
okay.
this should
Go
be
ahead.
this should definitely be the thing. I need to know how.
Just make the pick, and we'll figure it out.
Apple products, not the company that makes iPhones with slave labor. The fruit apple.
I think-
You get Tim Cook as your fall pick.
I think you need to pick a specific Apple thing because I have a few Apple things on my list that feel different enough that I think they all would have been fine to be picked.
I agree.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to go with apple cider donuts.
I think you need to pick a different Apple thing because I was going to pick that Apple thing, and I don't like that you picked that Apple thing.
I think that picking apples and apples themselves are a little overrated as a fall activity. And what you really want are the hot apple cider donuts that are at the orchard that you buy afterwards. That you've picked your kind of mealy apples from this weird industrial apple farm that you've paid $15 to walk around in. It's my favorite fall treat, kind of by far. Shout out Gould Orchards, by the way, if you're ever in upstate New York.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. Gould Orchard, though, has the absolute best apple cider donuts and apple cider that I've ever had.
Well, so I feel like you have to immediately make a follow-up pick here, which I mean, you have to take something else now, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
He's implying that you have to take another Apple product here to complement your Apple.
A pretty
cider
specific
donut.
one.
I'll take the iPhone 14.
I mean, are you not going to take it with your next pick?
I don't think I need to go 2 treats.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, apple cider donuts are good. So there you go. Good job. Now,
Okay.
Go off base for this next one. Have fun.
I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take hiking.
Ooh.
I'm throwing the flag here. I'm throwing the flag here.
Okay.
I'm throwing the flag here.
Or long walks. I don't know. I'm trying to maximize my foliage.
Hiking cannot explicitly be a fall
specific
activity.
thing. Yeah. You can hike at any time, really.
Okay, so the activity itself has to be specific to fall, and not just something that is best enjoyed in fall.
I mean,
apple cider donut you can get.
Yeah,
hiking is also not best enjoyed in fall, depending on who you are.
No, I think it is, but
I would disagree.
I think a lot of people, will like a summer hike.
Yeah, hiking's good year round. I think given the fall I'm creating here right now, I think hike. Can I call it a fall hike?
Here's what I'll say.
Why would you want to fall? Wouldn't you get hurt?
Here's what I'll say. I think that you will be able to walk to enjoy your fall without drafting a hike.
I agree. You're sort of when you draft the fall foliage, it's sort of implied.
Okay.
You're not going to the top of a mountain, but you're able to experience it. You don't have to draft the concept of going outside to see the thing that you drafted earlier.
Yeah, like if I don't draft water, that doesn't mean I'm dying of thirst in my fall. You know what I mean?
Okay, all right.
Oh shit! We all need to start very quickly drafting essential resources. I draft shelter and food back to back.
Yeah, I think you get your hikes without drafting them, Pat. Is my opinion on them.
Okay, cool.
I agree.
I'll take that then. All right. Well, then in that case, give me apple pie. I'm going to lock down the monopoly on the most autumnal of actual good treats.
Well, see, this is very interesting to me, and I'm just going to go right to my pick here.
I know where you're
Because
going.
because I think these are all going to be. I'm just going to take apple cider, which is
that's really annoying because I wanted apple cider.
which is what I thought you were for sure going to take with your apple cider donuts.
I thought so too, and I was kind of really excited that apple cider hadn't been taken yet because I was just going to snipe it with my pick immediately after.
The first 3 sips of apple cider are great, and then I'd have a kind of like weird sugary drink that you don't
spike
actually
it.
want.
Spike it, baby.
Spiked apple cider, mulled apple cider, so you get like a little more like earthiness and nuance and depth in there as well. Mm-hmm. I love apple cider. It is honestly one of my favorite parts of fall. I'm getting the 5th round. I love apple pie. I actually don't know that I've ever had apple cider donuts, to be honest. I've had like the cinnamony donuts. Is that what an apple cider donut is? More or less.
Yeah.
Like the fried cinnamony donut, right? And I mean I like them, but I feel like apple cider I could drink just about every day in the fall, and I don't think I could have apple cider donuts or apple pie every single day in the fall. And like especially since I have bonfire, is getting to drink like hard. I mean, I shouldn't say hard because like hard apple cider is gross, but like spiked mulled apple cider out by a bonfire in that crisp autumn air, boys, is such an incredible, delightful experience. So yeah, what do you think, Preston? Like, what do you think of the order of the apple products? What do you think of the order that they went in?
Well, it's annoying because I had the exact 3 that were taken on my list, and they were taken. Like I was almost assured, just statistically, one of them was going to fall to me, right?
Yeah. I think that probably would have been a safe bet that you get one.
And now my list is practical.
You could have let me take hike.
That's true. You came back to bite him in the butt. I mean, there are still apple things you can take, and I do think there's honestly
none that are worth it. I think
it's a pretty high value one. It's. I mean, Pat actually mentioned it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I may have to take it because my list is just otherwise empty. Like I literally have nothing else.
You're just watching sports in a hood.
While listening to Christmas music. What? No, sorry. While deciding I'm going to start listening to Christmas music.
I think how this has gone, it won't surprise anybody to find out that fall is not my favorite season.
Let's wait to have that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But let's wait to have the conversation.
Also, another teaser for the Patreon show we just did. I just found a chunk of pineapple on the floor that I didn't know was there.
Delightful.
And if you pay $50,
you'll find out
right now
how it got there.
There's not even an option to pay that much.
Pineapple Club.
It does look tasty.
All right, I'm starting a new Patreon tier, the Pineapple Club tier.
Okay, a lot of Apple products gone. I think
iPhone 14 still there.
I think I will put a bow on the Apple experiences being taken, and I will take apple picking.
Yeah.
As Pat said, not exactly my cup of tea, but I have enjoyed all the times that I've gone. The Georgia locations for apple picking are usually very pretty.
But you're not getting that foliage.
Yeah, so are all the trees just dead?
It's either dead or it's like way too early and it's hot and their leaves are all still green. And
only evergreens, baby.
Why am I here?
There's apples growing off pine trees.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense.
Some weird Monsanto genetic engineering. They're just growing apples off of evergreens so they can do it year round.
Oh, no.
Those are the apples you're picking.
Sure. I do think apple picking more as a fashion event too is what I'm drafting.
So you're drafting like Instagram photos of yourself apple picking.
Yes, if you could get those without having to actually go apple picking.
Boy, this is
basically we need like what they used to do in the 1800s, where they had like matte canvas backdrops for photographs. We just need one of those of apple picking.
It's such a damning remark on our generation.
Listen, I'm fine. So
I think this is a good pick. I think it's a better pick than you're selling it as. Even it is funny though that we've essentially just had apples go 4 picks in a row.
It's like the tight end
5.
run in the fantasy football draft.
Go for 5.
I will not go for 5. Unlike you, I do not want multiple Apple products.
And this is round 6, right? So this is your last pick of the draft here?
This is Preston's
my last
pick
of the draft. And I'm going to take something that, again, I think is like risky. And maybe it's a little too personal, but I do think there are a couple people that will see this in the last round and be like, yeah, I hadn't thought about that. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've done something like that, it's never worked on the show. But we persist. I am taking... This might be debatable.
Let's find out together.
I'm taking the idea of...
Oh, here we go. Another concept. Preston's fall is entirely conceptual. There's nothing that actually happens. It's all just thinking about things.
It's him in a basement watching sports, thinking about stuff.
What the hell do you think my day-to-day looks like right now? Throw in some God of War Ragnarok and you've got it, my friend. Okay. The idea, the concept, the event of old friends coming back into town.
Oh, see, this is one of my least favorite parts of
this to me is a very
season.
fall thing, that there are people in my life that are only in my life for this like a very specific week of fall, because it can't be during Christmas, really. It has to be during the Thanksgiving break when they're sort of in town for like kind of a week, but they only have to really do stuff on Thanksgiving Day. Daniel, you're pretty clear that you think this is a bad idea.
It's, I think, genuinely my least favorite part of the fall. I actively don't go out to bars, even with the people I like, really, because I know I'll run into people from high school that I just have such a negative interest in ever seeing again. So this you even just picking this is giving me anxiety right now. I fucking hate this. It's I genuinely think it's my least favorite experience in the fall. I cannot sympathize with this pick whatsoever.
Okay. Well, Pat, want to try?
Find it hard to follow that. I think it's a fine pick.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. Jesus Christ.
I think most people probably, based on the few times I've been forced into these interactions, it seems like most people do enjoy this. So
yeah, I think it's good. I think it butts into my Thanksgiving pick a little bit, because I think the prime night you're talking about is that Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, where it's
but is that Thanksgiving?
I've found, honestly,
me to show you a calendar.
I've actually,
you don't get the whole week.
In my experience, I will say I feel like the actual prime night is Thanksgiving night, because people have spent the day with their families, and then because Thanksgiving is kind of a holiday of lesser familial obligation, as you pointed out, I feel like people a lot of times kind of go out to the bars and like Thanksgiving night, and that's where a lot of these meetings happen.
Where
in my experience
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a fine pick.
Yeah. Listen, you listen. Think back to a time. You go off to college. You're a lowly freshman. And what was that for you, Daniel? 1996, something like that. Lowly freshman.
I'm like 3 months older than you.
Lowly freshman in 1941. Come back home, and
listen. I was not a freshman in 1941. All right, I was serving in World War II
in the Great War. Okay, then you come back home from the Great War, and you're carrying this sort of swagger with you. You're returning back to your hometown. I will grant you that's a complicated feeling. This time of year, I'm listening to a lot of wonderful musical albums about how complicated a feeling it is to leave home and come back. But there are people in your life that are only around for this time, and you sort of turn into a new person. Is it a person you always like? Not really. But you go back to a simpler time. To a time where everything was just sort of given to you, no questions were asked. To a time where all of your dreams were still alive. You could still go to space, maybe, one day. But now what? Sales? Is that really what you're for? Accounting? Interesting.
This is
Okay.
the clearest it's been that Preston is like 7 drinks deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
I'm just saying, what was it all for? You know, what was it all for?
All right,
That's a good question 6 hours into the draft.
Yeah. So some of that, whatever that was, is going to have to be saved for Patreon only, I think, just for the sake of time. I do like the content, though. It deserves a saying. I think it's a fine pick. Just for me personally, I really can't sympathize with enjoying that at all. I'm just the kind of person, like the people that I have liked, I've kept around in my life, and it's not like a seeing them once a year kind of deal. So that's how it is for me. But I understand like the reunion aspect. I want to, Preston, did you go to your 10-year high school reunion?
It actually didn't happen because of COVID. So
would you
the
have
story
gone?
of I think a lot of people. Would I have gone? Yes, and I mean, the obvious reason is because I punched incredibly above my weight. I absolutely would have dragged my wife to it and been like, look at
Just
people, look at what I did.
You know what? That's valid.
Come on.
That's honestly valid.
That's a cool, healthy thing.
Yeah. Listen, will I ever live up to the expectations that high school bullies had for me? No, Patrick. Is it going to bother me? Yes, but that doesn't mean I can't live a perfectly normal life. I don't like the way you're looking at me.
Yeah, don't become one of his high school bullies, Pat. That's not
What
cool.
was it all for?
That's got to be merch. That's got to be merch.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Right next to the Axel Xander sticker,
which I own multiple of.
Yeah,
yes.
I have one right behind me.
Okay, I have a few things up on my list. I only can take one. Obviously, it's the 6th round, so we'll have to touch on the others in the post-draft discussion. I think the thing I'm going to take, though, and it's in a very similar realm of hoodies, not being able to get hoodies, I'm going to take flannel.
That's fair.
Hashtag basic.
It's not as basic as I could have gone.
Good. No, it's pretty good. You did good.
Thanks. We didn't get Dresden. We didn't get Preston really drunk. Drunk Preston is Dresden.
It is.
Yeah, why don't we just call this Dresden?
That's canon now.
Why are you correcting yourself?
He's a whole different character on the show. All right, Matt, what's the final pick of the autumn/fall draft?
Yeah, what is what? No, this is not an autumn draft. Get out of here.
Taylor Swift.
What?
No, get the fuck out of here.
He just took flannel. Taylor Swift is off the board.
Taylor Swift is my pick with the final pick.
No, unacceptable. Not accepting this.
Why not?
I'll make a deal with you right now, Patrick. I'll make a deal with you right now. If 50% of Taylor Swift's albums were released in a time of year where we would reasonably consider it fall, I will let you draft Taylor Swift.
Don't even go by that. Do you only listen to Taylor Swift in the fall?
It's best enjoyed in the fall. If Preston can get the concept of the idea of when you listen to Christmas music, I can absolutely get Taylor Swift, which is clearly like a fall associated.
Oh my God.
You know what, Dan? I think we're missing an opportunity here to let him take Taylor Swift because I don't think it's a very good pick.
This is a bad time to be pro Taylor Swift, isn't it?
Why are you jumping on this right now?
Isn't her stock real low?
It's
with
on
the whole
fire.
Ticketmaster thing?
I don't think people are blaming her. I think they're blaming Ticketmaster.
People are blaming her too. By people I mean me.
Midnights is great. That's all that's my take on this. No, Taylor Swift is best enjoyed in fall.
This is ridiculous, Pat, and you know it. This is ridiculous.
We're trying to cobble together the perfect fall. Is that not what this is?
You know what? Okay,
the rest of the year, Taylor Swift is like kind of hit or miss for me.
I'm willing to.
You ever listen to All Too Well in October?
I'm willing to extend a compromise here.
Okay.
I will give you.
I'll give you Taylor Swift if you give me your 2nd round pick in 2023
and a future 1st rounder the next time we have you on the show.
Yeah.
No, I will give you Midnights. I will give you Midnights. The album.
I want red too.
Red Taylor's version or original red?
Original.
Original red.
The one we all have actual memories with.
I have no memories with any Taylor Swift songs.
I have so many. This is why this is challenging. The problem is I thought Midnight's was bad.
This
One red I think actually works.
This is like I've never been witness to this, but to me this feels like what it's probably like to be in like, you know, divorce mediation. I want red.
You can have red every other Sunday, Patrick.
You know I like red more than you, okay? I already gave you the dog. I'm taking red.
I will give you Midnights and Folklore.
These are
Not
all
red.
fall albums. These are all
Yes,
fall albums.
not red is
Folklore,
not a fall.
Evermore.
Red is not a fall.
Red is
fall album.
absolutely a fall album.
What makes them
Absolutely
fall
not.
albums?
Well,
What is Taylor Swift wearing on the cover? Is question number one.
I don't know, and I don't care.
like cardigans?
Well
mostly.
then take a freaking 5-minute break here, Dan, and come back when Patrick and I are done with
Look,
me.
look. If it's a bad pick, the people will decide.
Isn't the album Red literally just red?
No, it's a picture of her.
In a cowboy hat, I think, or like a fedora.
It's like a close up of her face.
I'm
It's
Googling this.
unquestionably a fall album.
No, it's not. Red is definitely not a fall album. But that being said, I will give you Midnights and All Too Well Taylor's version.
What is? Aren't they all Taylor's version?
Daniel,
They're
shut
her
up.
albums.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I think I get all of it because it's Taylor Swift through the prism of fall. The same way it's Apple Cider Donuts through the prism of fall. The same way.
You know what,
it's
Dan? I'm
NFL
sorry
through
with
the
you.
Prism of fall.
You don't get any Taylor Swift.
Carry this burden. Let him carry this burden. I don't think it's a good pick.
I don't, Pat. You can't get Taylor Swift.
How many Taylor Swift fans do you actually think listen to
Okay,
this
the
podcast,
concept
Dan?
of listening to Taylor Swift in the fall. There we go.
Done.
That's my pick.
Done. Sold. You can have it.
Oh, all right.
Okay, that's it. The concept of listening to Taylor Swift in the fall. We can cut all that just came before that, and you guys can both be like, "All right, agreed." And then that's
Done. Sold.
I hate this. I hate this. There's never been a pick that has broken the spirit of a draft more disgracefully than this pick.
I disagree, but I like where Patrick said that.
All right, Dresden. All right. Well, I am ashamed to say that was the final pick of the fall draft.
You know
Pat,
what this was. You
Pat.
knew what this was when you brought me here.
This is our punishment, I guess. Our weight to bear. Pat ends up with fall foliage, Thanksgiving, sweeping political victories on election day, apple cider donuts, apple pie, and the concept of listening to Taylor Swift during the fall.
This is going to be a very difficult graphic.
God damn it. Yeah. And then I have crisp autumn
just
air.
Joe Biden with an apple cider donut in his
Who?
hand.
Wait, it's who?
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden?
Uncle Joe Biden.
Joe Biden?
Sorry.
Uncle Joe Biden.
I don't know that I've ever heard it pronounced that way before. That was weird. Anywho, I end up with crisp autumn air, Halloween, bonfires, the NFL, apple cider, and flannel. And Preston has college football, the World Series, also known as, Preston, you did not bring this up, but the Fall Classic, as it is affectionately known. Hoodies, the unofficial personal decision of when you kick off the listening of Christmas music, apple picking, and then seeing old friends that you only like enough to enjoy seeing once out of the year, seeing them back in town.
I contest the framing of that list, but please continue.
Those are the picks of the best fall draft. Of course, we have so much more to discuss after I think what is a very needed quick timeout.
everybody. It's your favorite host here to ask you on behalf of the Appen Podcast Network, our parent network, to go check out some of their other shows. I'm partial to the Georgia Politics Podcast. I'm a host there every week. We play games at the end of every episode, trivia. Great way to stay in touch with local issues going on here in Georgia, but we also touch on national things too. Would really appreciate if you come give us a listen. Check out everything the Appen Podcast Network has going on at appenmedia.com, APPENMEDIA.com.
Okay, welcome back. If you are still with us, we are extremely thankful for you. Thank you so much for
Congratulations.
Thank you for tolerating our men's bullshit.
You've made it to the secret Easter egg portion of the show where we give out a bunch of free Amazon gift cards.
Achievement unlocked. No, that's not in the budget yet. We need more Patreon members before we can do that. Let's bang these out, guys. We already had pretty lengthy discussions on several of these picks. What was the worst pick of the draft?
I mean, I don't think of Taylor Swift as a fall musician. I think she has 2 albums that I would consider to be fall albums.
It's a ridiculous pick.
But you're gonna stand there from wherever the hell you are, you coastal elite, and tell me that Red is a fall album? You nut.
Let's leave it to the Discord.
Please, yeah, we'll do a bonus poll. We'll do a bonus poll with Taylor Swift.
Red is so summer, and you know it. When was it even released, you goon?
What do you think was the worst pick?
Christmas music, because if I hear Christmas music in the fall, I get annoyed.
You know what I think was the worst pick? I think it was the World Series.
Wow.
And it pains me to say that because I think the World Series is great, but Major League Baseball is unquestionably a dying sport and a sport for old people. And I think in the 4th overall, I think it was way too high. I think like the NFL, which I got several picks later, will resonate way more with listeners than the World Series will.
Okay. People who listen to the show that are old, I need you.
They don't exist.
I'm calling upon your support and energy. Daniel, your parents listen to the show.
They don't vote. They'll listen to this and they'll listen to this episode in a little under a month when they're driving west to Texas for my sister's wedding.
All right. Well, then you know what, Mom Apprentice, if I lose this vote, that's fine. If you're with me, then I won this vote.
I would be shocked if my mother watched a second of baseball this year.
She's we'll leave it up to her.
So I listen, I love the World Series. As I said, it is the fall classic, and if I were Preston, I really would have sold that when I made the pick. I think it went way too high. I think it deserved to be picked. I think it just went way too high. It should not have gone before the NFL, at the very least, in my opinion.
I think that the baseball is at its peak in the fall, though. It's there's about it.
It's the only time worth watching. Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. I completely agree. And listen, I'm not even saying this for myself. I do think I think playoff baseball is fantastic, but I think purely on what voters will think. Like, just the numbers of baseball are indicate pretty heavily that young people do not like or watch it.
Also, a quick point of clarification, Preston. Red was released on October 22nd, 2012.
I googled that. I wasn't going to mention it, and honestly, I have edit power. None of this is in the show. Congratulations.
I saw the decision
None of this is in the show.
I saw the decision being made in your eyes to not.
This is all in the garbage.
You have to leave it in.
Hearing this, congratulations, you're talking to us.
It's at least staying in for the Patreon supporters, patrons, whatever I don't know what the fuck they're called. Everyone calls them something different. The people who pay us money through Patreon.
You have to come
Daniel, you're wrong. Everybody calls them the same thing. Take a breath. They're called patrons. Thank you to our patrons.
Okay. Thank you, Preston.
Or you come up with some fun nickname.
Yeah, we need to come up.
Draft heads.
We need to come up with a fun idea for the community in general. I think. Hit us up in the Discord with that. Hit us up in the Discord.
Taps, like it's beer on tap.
Let's save it for the next episode.
Let's do it right now. It's 12:07 a.m.
This episode,
everybody. Let's hash this out right now.
This episode has to end. It has. I need it to end.
Pony kegs. Thanks all the pony kegs out there for supporting.
I need this episode to be over. What were the things that were on your list that you ran out of room for whatever reason at the end of the draft?
Literally nothing.
Really?
I only had 5 ideas for a 6-pick draft.
That's always a good spot to be.
I sort of just thought that I would be able to come up with more stuff as we went, but then I sort of stopped paying attention.
I had 3 things on my list going in. So
wow.
Yeah.
You did good then.
You did. You really did. Okay, so I had something I alluded to this a little bit when I said the most basic thing. I had pumpkin spice as something
for not drafting that. I was gonna compliment us for knowing that.
Pumpkin pie or that kind of thing.
I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin pie. I know a lot of people love it. It just in general, I think you could have gone pumpkin flavored things rather than just pumpkin spice. Because I do love a good pumpkin beer. A pumpkin beer is really good.
Wait, you would have allowed pumpkin flavored thing, but not apple flavored things?
You didn't go for apple flavored things. If you wanted apple flavored things, then you're taking
like non-apple, like artificially apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you want to take. I think you want the real deal when it comes to apple stuff. I also had hay rides, pumpkin patches as well. I think those all would have been
pumpkin patches is good.
Yeah, those all have been pretty good picks. I think certainly better and more valid than the concept of listening to Taylor Swift in the fall. But
I think you guys are about to be really surprised.
If Pat wins this poll because of that pick, then I don't want to do the show anymore.
I legit don't think we have a lot of Taylor Swift fans in our audience.
Well, I guess it remains to be seen. We'll figure it out. But just know if Pat wins this draft, I'm not making any more episodes. Just know that. Pat will have to be. Pat will replace me as co-host.
Okay. Pat can't replace both you and me as co-host. Dan. He can't sit here in the void and talk.
He replaces me. He replaces me. You two do it together. I'll come on as a guest every once in a while to relive the old memories. All right, boys. Final question of the show: who has the best fall?
Just open question.
Silence.
You're gonna.
Silence. Okay, here's the thing. I think it is impossible if you take literally Pat's team. I think it's impossible to take anybody else's because all of these things are good because the leaves have changed. And I think it's literally like taking like air out of a balloon. And I know you have crisp air, Dan, but if I look out the window and the leaves have changed, it is fall. It is hard to imagine me going to an apple orchard with friends that I only see once a year while college football plays on the TV. But the leaves are still green? Wrong.
You know, it's going to be weird. You know, what's going to be weird is when you see the fall foliage without the crisp autumn air. I actually do genuinely believe the autumn air is more important for fall, feeling like fall than the color change.
What temperature range are you trying to claim with crisp autumn air?
I said like to put a specific like lows at night in the 40s and highs in like the low to mid 60s.
That's a large range.
But we specifically said you don't get temperature; you just get the feeling of the air.
Yeah, but I think that's a very relative ballpark of what I'm talking about.
I still think it's Patrick.
I think I win.
I think that's insane
because of sweeping political victories.
No.
Nobody cares. No, people are just happy it's over. Listen, me and you are in our little bubble, and that's fine. But no, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I feel like.
When was the last time you experienced a sweeping political victory? Did you work with FDR?
No, I was not alive in 1941. Remember?
Did you graduate high school with Daniel in 1940?
Experiencing even non-sweeping victories still makes your fall so much better than losing. That having a sweeping victory.
That's true, but none of us picked losing political elections.
Right.
Exactly. You're taking the absence of an alternative that doesn't exist.
It's up in the air for you guys.
I don't know, man. Elections only happen every other fall. Like you can have a fall. That's what you should have taken. You should have taken a fall sans election season.
Yeah. Also, that
would have been way better.
Our elections don't even end in the fall in Georgia. So good luck.
They never end in Georgia.
No.
Look, you guys say what you want, but I think the listeners out there all know the feeling of sitting under your own vine and fig tree, safe in the nation we've made. Realizing the sweet enjoyment of partaking in the midst of their fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, the ever favorite subject of my heart.
I'm just gonna move on from Preston can't even really push back on this because he's picking Pat as the winner, which I honestly can't understand. I fucking annihilated this draft. I basically got like 6 of my top 8 things, probably 8 or 9.
Time.
I think I smashed this, and I think I'm gonna win win pretty handily in the poll.
Usually on this show, when one person thinks they knocked it out of the park and nobody else agrees with them, they definitely do very well. I'm speaking from experience here, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, the only things that I would have liked were Thanksgiving, which I knew I wasn't going to get. I knew I was going to get Halloween and Thanksgiving. Fall foliage and college football are the only things that I would have taken of any of the things that you guys picked.
Okay. I mean, here's the question for people voting for my team. Do you like your high school friends, and do you not like fall? If both of those answers are yes, vote for me 2022.
Listen, I'm gonna have a call to action here, and I don't know that I've ever done this before. Even if you think Pat's collection of things is the best collection of things,
don't be mean.
Please be reasonable and acknowledge he's taking things that are not actually fucking fall things, and don't vote for Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Please don't do it.
Wow.
A vote for Taylor Swift here.
This sounds like it's coming from a place of fear. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, this is the most riding on a poll we've ever had.
We're gonna learn something a little bit about our audience.
You know what this is, Daniel? You're like Hillary Clinton in 2016 right now.
I'm desperate.
Right?
Pokemon, go to the polls.
That's you right now. And boy, wouldn't it have been a whole lot better if she had won that election?
It would have been.
Feeling you're feeling right now, that anxiety, that sense of bitter unfairness and of like a murky future that you don't want to be a part of. What if that could just go away? Because you would fucking have a sweeping political victory in November, and it would set you up for the rest of the fall being sick.
And you know what, Dan? Turn on some Christmas music.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think that's my real problem with the Taylor Swift, because Pat already really pushed the boundary with the whole political election thing.
Why? It is as much as we don't maybe agree with it. It's definitely a fall thing. It's always
it's not, because it's not a thing that exists unless you're like a fucking Marco Rubio fan or some shit.
What is Marco? Wait, what? Continue.
The only people that experience sweeping political victories on election day are fucking Republicans.
I see what you mean, but you can't argue that it's not a fall thing, though.
The Democrats took all 3 of the executive and the 2 legislative branches in 2020.
I lost 23 of my 35 contests this year. So I'm not going to empathize here with you, Pat. But what I will say is that did happen in the fall.
I will say, have the last 2 years felt like we had a sweeping political victory on election day in 2020?
Well, what are you arguing right now? That what's your you're arguing how sick it would be for my fall to be the fall that you had?
No, I'm arguing that you took a thing that does not exist.
Well, so did a lot of us. Liking your high school friends. That's I mean, come on.
The high school friends. No, it's not. It's the high school friends that I like. I'm still friends with on a day-to-day basis. The ones that I'm not, I don't give a damn about.
But you see them for Thanksgiving because they come home.
I don't. I go out of my way not to. Anyway, this draft really just, I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened, but I need. Listen, do this for me, okay?
The fact that this is your reaction means I've already won. I don't care what the vote.
You have defeated me, Pat. You've defeated me, and I need a sweeping political victory on this poll, okay? Because I need to know that the drafted listeners and the voters are grounded in things that are real and you actually think of when you think of the fall. That's what I need. I need it from you all just to continue with my day-to-day life.
That wasn't the question, though. There wasn't a question. It was like, name the 6 things. It's not Family Feud. It's not like
No,
what are the
it's
things most associated with fall. It's what's the perfect fall? What's the best fall?
the best fall.
My fall is full of all the delicious Thanksgiving foods, Taylor Swift's music.
Honest, genuinely, you lose me at Taylor Swift music anyway, because I don't like Taylor Swift music, but
fair enough.
That's a whole separate issue. Patrick, I don't know what you've done to me. I don't know if it's because we've been recording for going on 3 hours now because of the Patreon episode of the drinks, but I've never felt more exhausted after the show. But I sincerely thank you for it.
You got it anytime, buddy.
I do. Guys, I do not like the energy that is on the show right now.
Dresden needs to save us.
Can we make an adjustment?
Pat, please tell
Might
us.
I recommend some Christmas music?
No, but I need to go to bed. But Pat, sincerely thank you. This honestly, this will go down as it always does with you as one of the most insane drafts. I appreciate you coming on.
One of the most important drafts we've ever done.
You think so?
I dare say. Based on how the results are going to shake out and what that's going to do to the moral affectations of my co-host here, the more important shows we've ever done.
This is the most important draft of our lifetime.
This is,
and you have
we demand a sweeping election victory in, as we all know it to be, the fall.
Those are both pretty good. Those are both not bad. But Pat, thank you so much for your time, sir. How can the people support the things you have going on in your life outside of whatever it is you do on this show?
Boy, what is my life outside of the show? I'm losing track of it. Now we're 12 hours into this recording. You know what you can do? You can enjoy the rest of your fall whenever you're hearing this. Go out there, look at the leaves that are up there, and then have yourself just a really great Christmas this year, because it's been
or whichever winter holiday you celebrate.
Oh, true. Right? Yeah, Christmas season from the capitalist commercial standpoint, in which we all are forced to participate in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a rough couple of years. This is the first Thanksgiving where my whole family's been back together since the pandemic, so I'm looking forward to that. And I hope you're all out there able to carve out some of that joy for yourself moving forward. I also say this, another thing that you could do, it would really help me out, is if you could donate to Raphael Warnock. That would be sick too. Make sure
it'd be super sweet. Just the best.
That'd be super cool.
I will warn you, if you do that, which you should if you can afford it, they're going to send you a hell of a lot of emails the next time.
You can use my email address when you do it.
I'll volunteer mine as well. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. What are you going to say?
Use the Drafted Pod email address.
Yeah,
donate to Raphael Warnock.
Yeah, use the Drafted Pod email. That we do endorse that.
Yeah, and then put your name in, and then we'll do a drawing of all the people whose receipts we get coming to the Drafted Pod email, and whoever we draw out gets a free piece of swag. Maybe I don't mean to speak out of turn.
You are wildly out of turn right now, sir.
No, that's
I have taken over.
You are so far gone. This is a coup. We are witnessing.
Pat is saying he's going to buy a piece of drafted merch for.
I am. I'm saying that.
All right, official. If you've somehow made it this point in the draft, then if you donate to Raphael Warnock's campaign, we will use the draftedpod@gmail.com, and we get your receipts. We will random.org select one of you to win a piece of drafted merch.
Hell yeah.
It will be a piece of Herschel Walker for Georgia merch.
Signed by Herschel Walker himself.
Yes.
Preston,
him and I are buds.
Yeah, Preston almost certainly has access to Herschel Walker.
Definitely. Absolutely.
So we can make that happen. But Pat, thank you very much, man. Genuinely thankful for you. I know right now we're recording on Thanksgiving. Listeners won't hear it until after Thanksgiving, but very thankful for you and the time you give us and the laughs you always give me. You are a true friend, and I love you, man.
Hey, I love you too, Daniel.
I'm glad you guys made up.
And Preston, I, of course, am very thankful for you. You are a dear, dear friend. In many ways, you make me laugh, which I think is the thing I value most in my friendships, but I know you are always there for me. And really any way that you could ever be there for me. And I really appreciate that. And I consider you one of my very best friends, and I love you.
Thanks, Dan. I love you too, bud. I'm sorry I didn't defend you enough this episode.
It's okay. I defend you because I know you are not as vociferous in your own defense as me, but I am. I don't need the help,
Preston, though.
Dresden, boy, howdy.
So, you
Dresden
cross
is
Dresden once,
entirely different beast.
you never do it twice.
Dresden can be hard to defend. If you guys see his Twitter account,
Oof. Now, see, this is where if we were a big podcast, someone would make a Dresden Twitter.
that sounds like a called shot.
It is another call to action. And of course, I think I speak for Preston on this. We are super thankful for all of our drafted listeners. This is a crazy thing that we get to do. It's super fun, especially you people who support us on Patreon, you patrons. That's wild that people pay us money just to listen to us ramble on these insane topics that we get to. But we love y'all. We hope you all have a great holiday. We will be back with a Christmas-themed draft. We're sorry we missed Halloween. Just a busy time of year for both of us, and then that we're a little late with the Thanksgiving one. That's why we wrapped it up into fall, so we hope that's okay with you guys. But yeah, we love y'all, and we will talk to y'all in a few weeks for Christmas time.